A mudslide at an open-cast copper mine in Zambia buried miners last week. Several are believed to be trapped underground.
The integrity of the tunnels is very compromised.
As Commander-in-Chief, I thank my own forces, my own command structure, the military men and women in uniform working with us, the civilians, for one job only, to retrieve our brothers and sisters down there.
Ifwe ngobuteko tuleba tutyawe panonomba epo twala perere lili ashi ili akufwaya pali apasensele mai.
Taking them out of the pit is to try and rearrange a situation where they can be mining safely, normally, and in an organized manner.
Baston dealer. Eba tsunga mno Chingola, eba tupanga ko filafine tuma business quest tukwata nombelingi kula bati kiloko babombera kufulongo mekichabo kubala bafulunganya so nga bafulunganya ifisa mkona ikira mufila fula na fwe bene turabera mo affected about if firo naika.
Police have since moved in to restore order, but the tension remains high. Traders are demanding more permanent security measures.
We'll take you to the House of Justice, which is the courts.
So most people have heard and seen of the riots that are happening in Chingola. So over the past few days, there have been some riots that have been happening, and this was caused mainly due to the fact that these illegal miners or jerabos or informal miners have been denied access to their mining areas. But I believe this thing began in 2023. Like what we're experiencing now began in 2023. So let me explain. In December 2023, there was a mining accident that happened in Chingola, in one of these areas where these jerabos or informal miners are found. So a couple of them, or a lot of them, were buried alive due to the rain that caused a mudslide. Of the many casualties, there was only one survivor. And the rescue attempt by the government and other mining companies was very tough because of the current situation of the ground, the soil, the mud, because it was raining during that period. So the government had halted that rescue attempt until the rain had ended, the rain season had ended. So again, during that same month, there were other casualties of people who died in the same area, because some of these people are stubborn, they don't want to listen to what they're being told. There was another casualty of someone who died. But if you look at these miners, most of them, they are mixed, There's some older guys, maybe in their 30s, 40s. There's some who are just kids, teenagers go there. Some people are maybe in their early 20s. There's a mixed age group in these places, all with the same goal to find copper, sell it, and make some money to make a living. There are many people who even stop school, these young kids. They stop school because they heard one of their friends went there, made some money, so they also motivated to do the same thing, stop school and just get into the mining business. But how these guys have been operating hasn't been very good or safe. I don't know if you've ever seen how their mining conditions are. Most of them don't have any safety clothing, safety equipment, but you do see them with their shovels, their picks, and their other mining equipment. So after this accident, the government began to say or think that it would be best if these guys would wait for the rains to end for them to continue their operations after the rains had begun. But then, there were allegations that the government had turned their back on these people. They were told that they would begin operations in April, but then when April became, zero, nothing. The government had still denied them access. That was caused the April riots. Then there were also some other riots that happened in June, with the same reason, being denied access to the mining areas. Then also July, the one that recently happened a couple of days ago, same reason. But then there were also some riots that happened in the northern part of Chingola, but they weren't as, can I say, violent as the one that happened, that have been happening recently. So in this situation, there were allegations that the mining area was sold to Chinese nationals, because when these miners went there, they were chased by security forces and denied access. So they got disgruntled and, caused the riot. That was it weren't really as violent as the recent thing, like I just said. So my opinion is that the government is trying to make sure that the mining conditions for these miners is safe. There's a video of an MP, Chingola MP, where he talked about this. And in his speech, you've heard him mention that he would want them to operate with equipment and proper equipment when mining, like proper mining equipment and all this. But during that period, some people mistook what he said. Some of these illegal miners or informal miners mistook what he said, and they saw it as a green light for them to continue their operations, of which they did. And later, or shortly after, a couple of days later, the operations were halted. And again, they got disgruntled and caused riots. But the problem is, the intensity of these riots is getting higher and higher and higher, because looting happens, destruction of public and some private property, vehicles destroyed, shops destroyed, shops looted, and destroying a lot of public and private infrastructure. So then the government had to call in their security forces to help deal with this situation, of which there are many allegations that the government's use of force is too excessive, of which I think it's quite true, because there have been many casualties. Many people have been shot and killed on both sides, and let me not say it's the government's problem. It's like a 50-50 thing that's happening. Both people on both sides, the security forces, some people are getting injured, some people have died, and on the other side also too, the rioters, people have been shot and killed, and some of these people who've been shot, pedestrian citizens, have just been innocent people. Some people are not even taking part in the riots. Maybe they're just bystanders trying to observe, because there are a lot of people who just want to watch what's happening. Instead of them going to safety, they would want to be between the clash, watch what's happening when the police and these rioters clash. So the people have been shot and killed during this, and many people have been condemning the government's use of force, because it might be too excessive, because now they're killing people. And this is not the only place where the government's use of force has been excessive. Also in Mufumbo, in the northwestern province. So there's a gold rush that's been happening there, and many people from different parts of the country have been rushing there to do their gold mining. Of which even there have been many casualties, whereby their tunnels collapse and people have been buried alive and crushed by stones and sand and all these kinds of things. So there too, security forces were sent to take care of the problem, and there were casualties there, and some people have died and all that stuff has been happening. So people again, mostly the opposition, condemning the government's use of force. And I think this use of force isn't going to change or help the situation. I don't think it's going to kill or stop this situation. And this is not the only situation where the government has been using force to try and get their way. Let's talk about the Edgar Lungu burial situation, of which the government is trying to use force to make sure they take control of the funeral, which I believe it's not really, in my opinion, I think it's, what word can I say? I don't think it's necessary to use such force to try and, bulldoze the situation, to take full control. I think they should just have a proper negotiation with the family. And in this situation, someone talk about this future, but between the Lungu family and the government, I think they should just have a proper conversation and mediation, and let them agree on something, and let them keep their promises. Yes, keep their promises. You agree on something, you keep the agreement. But the allegations, that hasn't been happening. And the same thing in the miners' rioting situation. I think the government should just find a solution, talk to these people, and find a way that they can meet a middle ground where they can stop this situation. Because I don't believe sending security forces to abduct people, to arrest people, I think it's a temporary solution. But we'd want one that's permanent, so that people's lives are sustained and people are not being affected. But again, I feel that the reaction by these protesters has been too excessive. The destruction that they've done during this riot that happened just a few days ago has been too excessive. The destruction has been too excessive. And these people, they're destroying the areas and the shops that are found where they live. They're destroying their own stuff. The shops that you buy from and everything are the ones that you're destroying. So what are you going to have then if you destroy everything? Where are you going to buy your stuff? Anyway, people, if I missed out something, let me know in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you on my next video. Peace.